Hello and welcome to another edition of Web Hack Wednesday. I'm Martin Beebe.
And I'm Martin Kern.
And today we are going to be talking about...
I don't know. It's a complete surprise to me. This
Oh,
is
it really?
Idea. Yeah.
We had a whole meeting about this.
Well, we did have our usual production meeting, I know, but these things, they come around so quickly and we cover so much information that it's hard for me to retain any of what we discuss.
Well, today I want to talk about audio.
Okay.
Web audio.
Okay.
It's just one of those things that I've not really looked into before and had requirements to look into it recently.
Okay.
So just thought I'd show you what I found.
Sounds interesting. Very good.
Well, it's something. I don't know if it's interesting or not.
We'll find out. Ask me again in 10 minutes' time and then I'll tell you whether it's interesting or not.
So this is a very easy thing to demonstrate its usage.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is you switch over to my screen.
Sure.
And I'm inside of Chrome DevTools here. And I'm going to go into More Tools, Developer Tools. No, and I'm going to do it right this time.
Well, you could just do F12 if you wanted as well.
Yeah, if you want to be
the
fancy.
same place. Yeah, fancy.
So in the console, we can start writing just any. Oh, look at that! I should GitHub.svg file not found on my website. I should probably fix that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, let's not worry about that for now then.
I'm going to add this into the console.
Okay.
And the first line of this says content equals new audio context, and I've also added a WebKit audio context as well.
Okay.
I don't think this is actually required anymore.
So this is to actually, so you're wanting to play audio through your website?
No, what I'm trying to do is generate audio. That's the important thing.
Right.
So generation of audio. The idea of the web audio API is that we could generate music or tones or something like that.
Yeah.
But one of the other benefits is that we could perhaps visualize audio as well. So you could load stuff in from a file and then figure out the sine wave or the different frequencies that are involved in that as well. So you could create visualizations from audio.
So you can code audio.
Yeah, you're able to control. You're also able to take a sort of a source file, a source media file, and then apply some kind of effect to it, like a reverb or distortion. Right. I don't quite know why you would necessarily want to do some of those things, but the primary use case I see it used in is when you want to visualize audio, and it's particularly good when you want to give feedback, say, from a microphone. Okay. So when the user's speaking into a microphone, to know that there's something which is actually happening, that the microphone's actually picking it up.
That's a really good thing.
Having an on-screen visualization.
So quite often when we do things with the speech, the cognitive speech APIs, which we hopefully can do an episode on in the future. I won't give a time frame for that, but we're definitely going to do one. That would be a really cool thing to be able to show the user that they're actually the microphone's listening and picking up.
It really is, because it can be, otherwise you're sort of hitting in the dark and something else fails and it's not actually the recording or the voice coming through. So knowing that there's audio being passed through, being able to see the frequencies of it, that's the kind of useful.
Okay, sounds good.
But it has this very basic, so we can sort of get an audio file from disk. We can also get it from a media stream. Yeah. We can also start generating audio too.
Right. Okay.
And this is what this example does.
Okay,
so
let's take a look.
I create what they call an audio context. In all those examples, in taking a file and taking a stream, we're always taking we're always creating an audio context. And it sits on the window object, and it's got called .audio context. Okay. And it could have been called WebKit audio context. So in older browsers or in WebKit-based browsers which have not adopted the new standard, then they might be called the WebKit audio context. Okay. I think we're at a point in history now where we can probably not use this. Yeah. I think Chrome, as of Chrome, like a long time ago,
you
adopted
could use
audio context.
Can I use or something to check that, I suppose.
You can, or this is literally the only test that is required, because Mozilla never released a prefixed audio context, as far as I'm aware. It's always been anyway. Yeah. So we're generating a thing called an oscillator.
Sounds very technical, that does.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But it sounds actually like a science experiment, like something you had it in science class or whatever. But an oscillator is able to then generate a frequency for us. So I'm going to create an oscillator, and its context, which is the audio context, .create oscillator. The oscillator's frequency is going to be set at 5,000, and we're going to start this. And then the oscillator is going to connect to the context.destination. Okay?
Okay.
So what should happen?
That's a horrible sound.
Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty awful, right? That's because that frequency is at 5,000, right? Yeah. Well, what we can do is we can test our age somewhat. And I'm just going to take another another thing. So if you create a tone frequency with greater than 15,000, those only those under 40 will be able to hear it.
Really?
Yeah. So this would be interesting, actually. Can we hear?
Greater than 15, okay. So
under 40. We are under 40.
Yeah,
right.
So only just for me, but yeah, we are.
So we're going to put the oscillator frequency at that, and I'm going to do...
is it going to be horrible again?
You will either be able to hear it, and it'll be horrible, or you won't.
Okay.
Start. Oh. How about we do this then?
Yeah, just change it there. It's fine.
I didn't realise that you can create it after the fact. We can do it. So I have to put 15,000. This might be horrible.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can. It's more tolerable than it was, but it's still not a pleasant experience.
Okay, so let's do that. And I'm just going to go in again, and this time I'm going to put it to a value which we shouldn't be able to hear.
So is this because
outside of our range?
This because so is this just for the under 30s?
This is under 30s. This area, yeah. So
okay.
Let's try this one.
I can hear it.
Oh, I can hear it as well. That's strange. Control. Let's try and set that again. Well, let's see if my experiment goes. Let's try something which is much higher. Can you hear that?
No, I can't.
Yeah, that's it. So there'll be some like 16-year-old somewhere like, oh my God, I can't hear. But for us, we can't hear that.
We can't hear that.
Yeah, so screw you, 16-year-old developer out there listening to this. This is irritating as hell, I imagine, to you. But we can't hear it, so it's brilliant.
That's brilliant, okay.
Oscillator. Oh, what is it? No, I can't spell oscillator for some reason. Or maybe I just want to leave this on as long as possible. To stop. Okay. You can you weirdly can hear it stop.
Yeah, you get like a little click.
Yeah.
So is the one... Okay, that's cool. I never knew that my hearing was already...
You must have done this at school.
It's too far ago. I can't remember.
In physics, that's the only problem with the memory test. Yeah. In physics, we did this exact experiment, but not with a browser, obviously. Right. We did it with like a generator, and probably they're called an oscillator, like a generator.
Is that a thing?
And I'm pretty sure it is.
Outside of JavaScript, is that still a thing?
I'm 100% it is.
Okay.
Basically, the science behind the technology behind synthesizers. Yeah. This is roughly kind of it. So if you've got like a Moog synth from the 80s, you've got the power of creating a Moog synth in the browser, which is quite cool.
That is very cool.
Well, it's sort of cool, but let's look at some. There's other things that this stuff can do. So let's just have a look.
Besides like sending 16-year-olds around the country crazy, my nephew's 17. I'll test it with him. I'll play this to him and see if it's.
Yeah, we should see if it actually works. So I'm going to just start up another website. What I'm doing on this is a slightly different sort of thing, but it's a similar kind of idea. Now, you'll find that figuring out notes based upon the frequency is quite tricky.
Okay.
You know, there's maths which
as in musical notes.
As in musical notes, yeah. So if you've got a song that you want to play, and you've got some musical notes that you want, we might be able to generate that. But it's actually quite difficult to do with a low-level API. Okay. But there is a sort of wrapper API, a wrapper JavaScript library called band.js, which kind of uses the WebAudio API, but exposes an API to us that's a little bit more friendly to generate music.
Okay, cool.
And this is all I'm doing in this piece of code here is I'm saying, okay, if, by the way, the original thing is I've included a minified version of band.js.
Right. Yeah.
I'm getting that using Bower.
Okay.
These are all words.
Yeah. We've covered this stuff in previous episodes. I think even last series we might have covered Bower. It's with the interesting little Bower bird.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But so Bower is just a way of getting this stuff in, but you could go and download this JavaScript file from wherever you'd get it from.
Wherever you would normally get these files from. Yeah.
And then we say, is the audio context in window? I'm actually not doing a WebKit test here. I'm just saying if the audio context is existing. And if it does, I say information web audio is supported, else the get element by ID button is disabled. So there's two elements on my page, an information and a button. Information is set, web audio is not supported, and the button's disabled. But if web audio is supported, it's going to say, good news, web audio is supported, and the button is going to be enabled.
Yep. Okay.
And then when the button is finally clicked, we're going to create a thing called a conductor using band.js.
Nice.
A time signature, 4x4 time signature. A tempo, 120 beats per minute.
All right, we're doing a good high tempo one.
Yeah, well. And then we've got a piano, with a conductor, and we're going to create an instrument, because you can have multiple instruments in this. And then I'm going to play a series of notes. A B3, a B on the third position on the piano, a quarter, a length, a D, D sharp, F sharp, because I like to do functional programming, a rest for eighth, a B, you don't need to, you can read music, right, you can't, maybe not read
This
music.
is a whole new way to read music, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, in JavaScript.
I prefer, it's probably easier to read traditional.
Probably.
Or even tab for the guitarist amongst you, but yeah, we can go with this.
And then we say player.conductor.finish, so all of our instruments are set up.
I'm intrigued, I can't wait to see what, because I know this is going to be some ridiculous.
No, I actually am really poor at this, and I couldn't, I attempted to do something, and you'll find out that I completely failed.
Okay.
So I was hoping to try and create the WebHack Wednesdays theme tune.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
But I was doing this late, and I couldn't actually do it. Okay. So I had a little piano on my phone trying to figure out the notes, and it didn't. I must admit that this is a really weak attempt at it.
Let's play a tune. Play me a tune.
Right. And then I gave up.
Well, it's it's there or thereabouts, isn't it? I mean,
it's not the worst. I mean,
no, it's recognisable.
You could call it that. Yeah. It's something, right? But it's not ideal, but it's something. So let me see if I can find this Band.js over here. This is what I was looking at. The actual website for Band.js, they have done a slightly more advanced
more professional
thing,
job.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is actually genuinely shows you what you could probably do with this stuff. So when it loads in. So this is a slightly more complicated demo, and actually a more realistic thing about what it might be used for.
Yeah.
So this is on the Microsoft Edge test drive website.
Okay. Yeah.
And what it's doing is it's listening to the signal which is coming in, the frequency, and the sine wave which is coming through from my microphone.
So this is just a microphone on your PC here. So I go,
yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. You
Very
get,
good.
Yeah. You're. Hello. I'm trying to get higher frequencies.
So what about this? Hello.
You get lower frequency range.
Good.
So this
scientific.
Yeah, it's quite scientific. And you can add the effects onto here, which I've created, or some filters. So like, let's make it into a parking garage. And what you can do is switch this on.
Okay.
But actually it's getting loads of feedback, so I won't do that.
Okay.
But you can play with this in your own time. We can record a file as well, because what it's doing is it's taking this in from the microphone that's recording it, it's passing it through these filters. So there's lots of options and capabilities and things that you can do.
This solves a problem that I've had recently, which in prepping for a future episode, this fixes.
This is what it's all about.
So we're making connections now between episodes. We're on to the next level of.
So if I stop that, I should be able to. I can play it. I'm getting too much feedback.
You need to come out the garage, I think.
I think it's because I'm feeding back into it.
Right. Okay.
But actually, hold on. Let's mute my microphone.
Yeah.
And play.
There's lots of options and capabilities and things that you can do.
And it does sound like you're in a garage.
This is what it's all about. So we're making connections.
So that's kind of, in a very, very quick nutshell, WebAudio API, what it can do, what it's capable of.
I've learned something there, Martin. Thank you very much for that.
That's what I aim to do.
Good.
Aim to please.
Very good.
Thanks very much for joining us. Join us next week for another WebHack Wednesday.